Hello everybody, I hope you are having a great day. In this tutorial series you will learn all of the major concepts that go into testing your Django application. By the end of the series you will have a good understanding of how the testing lifecycle inside of your projects can work and should work, and you'll be able to write your own tests for your applications and therefore ensure their integrity. And what we mean by automated testing is the writing of some simple code snippets that is used to test some other code snippets of your production code. And this just gives you the confidence that your code is working correctly, and whenever you need to make changes you can just run all of your tests and make sure that everything works fine without worrying that you just broke something and your end users are going to have a horrible time of using your application. So that's going to give you some more confidence. And in this part we want to set up the required things for our testing in the future. So we are going to create a new project, a new application, and then set up some other things. So let's get started. As you can see, I'm in the command line and I can create a new app using Django admin start project, and then I'm going to name this project testing, and now we can change the directory into testing, and now we can start our actual app, and this is going to be called Py start app, and then I'm going to assign it the name of products. And now that we have that, we can open our folder inside of Atom using atom and then a dot. So inside of the models.py file, we can now create a new model and call it product, which subclasses from models.model of course. And then I'm going to assign the field of name and set it equal to a models.char field with the max length of, let's say, 100. Then every product is going to have one description, and we can set the equal to models.text field. Then a price, which is going to be a models.decimal field. And I'm setting the max digits equal to 5, and then the decimal places will be 2. Then we want to associate a quantity with it, which tells us how many of that specific product we still have in our, fake stock, I guess, and set it equal to models.integer field. And then we want to set a published on equal to models.date field. And on this model we want to be able to use one function which is called dev is in stock. And whenever we call this function, we want to return a boolean which tells us if we still have some products inside of our stock. So all we have to do is return self.quantity is greater than 0. And if it's greater than 0, it means that the self.quantity variable is equal to 1 or above. And if that's the case, of course, we still have this specific product in stock. And if it's not the case, we're going to get false, so that should work how we expect it. And then we can mark it as a property, the property decorator. And next up we want to go into the testing folder. In the urls.py file we can add a new path, and this is quite simply just going to lead to any integer which we're going to name pk, and whenever we hit this route we want to redirect, or we want to call the views.product detail function, and then I'm going to assign the name of detail to this path. And next we want to import the views from the product app. So from products import views. And now that we have imported them, we of course haven't created them yet, so just go back to the views.py and create a new function called product detail, which takes in the request and an ID. Or did we name it private? Yeah, I guess we can name it pk. And now we want to get the product by their private key, but of course we still have to import the model itself first. So from .models import product. And at this stage we can set the product equal to get object or 44 product, and then we want to select by the ID of private key, or you could use PK, both works. That will also work. Yeah, let's do this. And then we have to import the get object or 404 function, which is going to take care of returning a 404 error if this specific product which we want to access doesn't exist in the database. And then we can return a render with the request to product detail.html and pass in a product with this dictionary. And last, we want to go into the project, into the products, and create a new folder called templates. And in here we can create the product underscore detail.html and just simply spit out an h1 which just says product.name. That will be enough for us to identify it. And now, of course, you have to go into the settings.py and include your application. And that should be about it, actually. Just go back. And now you can make all of the migrations using manage.py make migrations and manage.py migrate. And that will just run through and spit out a whole bunch of gibberish which we don't understand. And now we can run our server using manage.py run server. And go back to your localhost 8000 and refresh. And as you can see, we have nothing at this index view. And if we go to -1, we get a 404 because there is no product with the ID of 1 yet. And we want to create one. So go back and enter the manage.py shell actually. That should work fine enough for this one. And now from product.product or from product.models import product. And from datetime import datetime because we need datetime to fill out one product. As you can see, we have the state field, which we also need to specify. And now we can create a new product using product.objects.create. And I'm going to give it the name of book, the description of an awesome book about Django. And what do we have? Yeah, the price will be $19.99. So quite standard. And then the quantity, let's say we have still 100 books inside of our stock. And then we can specify the published on as datetime.now. Close it off. And then just hit .save. So it gets saved to the database. And you will see it runs through. And now we can test it out by using product.objects.get by the private key and specify to 1 because of course it will count all of the objects we create up from 1 to, n, however many we have. And you will see the product object, so that works fine. And you can just hit out or go out of the shell using quit. And if we go back and run a server, can just reload it, and you see we get book, which was the name of a product. And this is kind of tedious doing the setup manually, but it will serve for the next parts where we are actually going to test all of this functionality. And last but not least, I want to go to this view and make it a login required view, just so we can test that only logged in users can access certain views. So make sure that it's marked by login required. And then we need to import this decorator. So from django.contrib.all.decorators import login required. And if we go back, you'll see that we get redirected to accounts login because it wants us to log in. But of course we have no account yet, so that will be fine. But it will work if we are logged in, so don't worry about that. Anyways, it should be about it for this project itself. But first of all, we want to now install some packages which we are going to use. So first of all, I want to pip install Pytest. You'll see that I already have it, but for you it should run through. And then pip install Pytest-Django. And last, I want to install Pytest-Cav, which can be used to test the coverage of our project. And then I want to install Mixer as well. And that will be used to mock the database a bit more conveniently. And that should be about it. So now that we have our setup work set up, we can go into the next part and actually start writing our first test. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to share this series with anybody you think would enjoy it as well. Leave a comment and a like down below, and I hope to see you inside of the next one. Cheers!